Last time, we saw how Raditz kinda screwed everything up. Bardock kinda had to think on his feet, and with no other options in mind, they ended up joining the Frieza Force temporarily, and ultimately faking their death right after, using instant transmission to go back to Yardrat. But they doubt Frieza will buy it that easily. What are they supposed to do now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 3 of What If Bardock Raised Kakarot. Back on Yardrat, Bardock starts acting a bit weird. At first he's acting pretty calm, and then he panics, staring off to the distance blankly. At first his family has no clue what he's doing, but then they realize. It's another one of those visions. They know about what Bardock has, that ability. Bardock has no control over it, and it's been a while since he's had a vision like that. Everything is very vague too, but he actually sees what looks to be Frieza. He's not entirely sure, but it almost looks like him. It's almost like he's transformed or something, which makes no sense. He tries to focus on the vision, but again, he has no control over it, and it dissipates after a bit. He hasn't used the Foresight much, not really having an opportunity to figure out how it works or how it's triggered, or more importantly, how to use it on his own. But he tells them what he saw, and this makes him worried. If that truly was Frieza, that means he might be able to transform. Just as Bardock expected, he might be stronger than they think. Back at the Frieza Force, Vegeta and Nappa return to Frieza. Frieza's a bit surprised, wondering where those other monkeys went. Oh, they died. Well, that's kinda good for him at least, but still, it was one mission. They were really that weak? That makes no sense to Frieza. And Vegeta and Nappa are just as confused. Vegeta hopes Frieza doesn't really catch on, because then Vegeta would be the one to get the blame. Frieza would think he's colluding against them. So Vegeta tries to add to it. He says they don't need those low-class weaklings anyways. They couldn't keep up. It's probably for the better that they died. Honestly, Raditz was kinda dead weight, so it makes sense that the rest of his family was too. Right. Frieza is still a bit confused, but he also realized that they couldn't have escaped. I mean, if their space pods were back there, never used, that only leaves two options. Either they're hiding somewhere on the planet, or they actually did die and just had no remains. Just to verify, he's gonna send scouts back to the planet, but Vegeta and Nappa know that they're not there. They already looked around just to make sure, but Frieza's gonna do the same too. Vegeta and Nappa are free to do what they want now, and they slip away, going on a search for the Saiyans. And Nappa wonders why Vegeta's still pursuing it. They're dead, they can't be found anywhere. But Vegeta says that's not the case. They definitely escaped somehow. He doesn't know for sure what happened, but he does remember where Raditz found the other Saiyans. It was on that planet called Yardrat, and he's heard a rumor about it, that they have strange techniques there. It's kind of a long shot, but what if that was how they got back to the planet somehow? It's at least worth checking there, and even if they're not actually there, it's good to learn more from the Yardrats about who these Saiyans were. Either way, they're going to be able to get some information. Kakarot's training one day on Yardrat, and feels something strange. Great, they've been spotted. Two energies are approaching Namek, and he can immediately tell us those two other Saiyans. Two space pods crashed near where Kakarot is, and he flies over, flying kinda low and hiding, just to see what they're up to. And, just like he expected, it is those two Saiyans. He sees Vegeta and Nappa stepping off. And Kakarot's about to jump out at them, but then the others teleport in, with Raditz holding on to Bardock since he still can't teleport. And just so they don't make the same mistake as last time, Kakarot then points two fingers out, blowing up Vegeta and Nappa's scouters, with the family coming out of hiding. They don't really have a choice here. They know the Saiyans are threats, and they might be here to attack the Yardratians. And Vegeta's fuming. He knew it. He has no clue how he got back, but they're lucky he didn't rat to Frieza. He said they should be grateful for him. He covered for them. He doesn't care that they betrayed Frieza. He only cares that they're doing this to him. They went behind his back. He'll need to put them in their place. Raditz tries to calm them down, but they're not going to happen. Nappa immediately jumps out at him, with Gine then quickly stepping in, with Vegeta noticing a visible aura around her, and with one attack, she knocks Nappa completely unconscious. Well, looks like they're ready to fight then. Vegeta then launches in to attack her, and she simply teleports out of the way, with Bardock teleporting in at the exact same time. Vegeta lands his punch, but doesn't hit Gine. It hits Bardock right in the face. Wait, how'd they swap places? He jumps back, and then fires a flurry of Ki Blast. Bardock simply swats them away, then vanishing once more and immediately appearing right in front of Vegeta. The two start exchanging blows. Bardock's not even trying. He says they don't need a fight. He wants Vegeta to calm down. They're not his enemy. But Vegeta says screw that. They went against him, especially Raditz. Fine. If he's not going to listen to reason, Bardock's just going to have to beat him. Then making quick work of Vegeta as he defeats him. Vegeta can't believe it. This must be some sort of fluke. There's no way he lost to a low-class warrior. Especially when he fought Kakarot before. How was Bardock stronger than him? He beat Kakarot, and Kakarot was supposed to be stronger than Bardock. And Vegeta looks over at Kakarot, who's staring him down. He then slowly floats over, telling Vegeta he'll explain. Nappa wakes up, still angry and almost attacking, but Vegeta tells him to stop. Fine. He'll hear them out. He doesn't really have another choice. There's something weird going on here, and he has no clue what it is. He could save fighting them for later. He just wants to know this before he beats them. So Kakarot catches them up to speed. To think these low-class Saiyans are somehow stronger than them. That can't be possible. But it is. And apparently, they do want to go against Frieza. But why didn't they clue Vegeta in? Frankly, they couldn't trust him just yet. And on top of that, this made it more believable. If all the Saiyans just somehow disappeared, Frieza definitely would be able to find them. And then Bardock takes over. He says this was their best shot. So Vegeta just asks straight up, do they think they could defeat Frieza? And they're a little bit shocked to hear this, but they don't really know what to say. Bardock says honestly, He doesn't know. He has a feeling that Frieza has another transformation. He might be far stronger than they realize. And even though he only briefly encountered Frieza just now, he could tell, even in his normal state, it might be a little bit too much for them. But Vegeta says that doesn't make sense. Their power, it's so high. They might even be stronger than him, as much as he hates to admit it. And they've grown up on this planet. Don't they have some sort of weird abilities? He just saw Bardock and Gine change places like it was nothing. And that's how they got here too, right? Can they teleport or something? It's a little more than that. To think he's being embarrassed by these parlor tricks, and somehow it made them that much stronger too. It's not like he can even read their power level right now. Their scouters were destroyed. Luckily, they didn't even have them on this time, actually. They were just about to turn them on and scan everything. Now Vegeta wonders, could this potentially be a family of Super Saiyans? Or could someone in that family at least be a Super Saiyan? Maybe that's it. Maybe that Bardock guy. There's something strange about him. Or Kakarot. What if that's him? Definitely not Raditz though. He's just weak. But those other two, something's off-putting about them. And Vegeta doesn't even know the battle power of the other two, Gine and Ruda. So he makes a deal with them. As long as they help to defeat Frieza, he'll cover for them. He'll buy them time. If they really need that much more time, he'll get them it. He's ashamed that he can't just do this himself. But if this is their best shot at defeating Frieza, he'll let them do so. He even considers, maybe try to stay on this planet, try and learn some of those different abilities. But that's not him. That's not who he is. He doesn't want to learn those strange tricks. He just wants to grow stronger. Besides, they've been on here basically their whole life. Vegeta has no hope of getting the mastery over those skills like they do. He doesn't even know where to start. But he and Nappa will grow stronger somehow. They'll find a way. They'll train harder than ever before, growing as strong as possible. They want to be the ones to defeat Frieza. They'll buy these other Saiyans time. And if things pan out the way they want, Vegeta and Nappa will grow stronger than ever, defeating Frieza on their own. They won't even need these other Saiyans' help. The two Saiyans get up and leave without saying any more words. And Kakarot asks Bardock, does he think that they're actually telling the truth? That they're actually going to be on their side? Or at least be neutral? And Bardock has no clue. But at least that's one problem solved. Hopefully those two will cover for them. And that means they don't have to worry about those Saiyans either. They should be fine here on Yardrat. They just bought themselves some time. The issue is, they're not just going to be able to live here in peace. They have to defeat Frieza. It's basically fate. Bardock even saw it. At least part of it. And he even contemplated, maybe he could use that 4-spirit fission technique against Frieza, but it might be too dangerous still. He's practiced with it and knows he could use it on other targets, and that could work against Frieza, but Frieza is still far faster and far stronger. Bardock can't even leave a small opening. Any moment of time that Frieza is able to attack him, it'll disrupt the spirit fission, allowing Frieza to either stop it, or just kill Bardock in general. It's even worse considering Frieza might have a transformation according to Bardock's vision, but at least he knows that they have that. All 4 of them do. And Raditz of course is going to start practicing with spirit control. Maybe if they all work together using that power, they could defeat Frieza, even if they're not necessarily as strong as him right now. But of course, they do want to work to get stronger. That's their best shot. Vegeta and Nappa arrive back. Frieza thought they were sent with the scouts to go check out that planet. And they come back somewhat damaged. Not too damaged, but still clearly injured. And Vegeta gives Frieza a story. He says they searched everywhere for the Saiyans, and say they were attacked by some sort of the population who was there, still being hidden away. Vegeta says they slaughtered the rest. They were decently powerful, much tougher than the rest of the population on that planet. And those warriors in hiding must have been the last survivors, the ones who actually killed the other Saiyans too. And Frieza's kinda glad to hear this. He actually kinda believes it too. He still thinks there's no way they could have escaped, and the story does line up, especially with Vegeta and Nappa's injuries. Now, one weird part is none of the scouts remember Vegeta and Nappa being there. Well, they were there for a bit, but then slipped away somehow. And Frieza does find it weird at first too that he didn't see any of it on the scouters, but then he realized that their scouters were destroyed. And on the fly, Nappa says that they must have known about the scouters by now, especially when they attacked last time. The population of that planet that they attacked definitely would have learned about it. Frieza's a bit suspicious still, but this at least kind of puts him at ease. It's not like he was really worried about the Saiyans, it's just what they were planning. Something seemed very fishy about the whole situation, and confirmation that they're actually dead is good, even if it's from the other Saiyans, and the other scouts seem to back it up. Vegeta and Nappa were there on the planet for a bit, but they took a while to come back. Although the scouts find it strange that they didn't see any of those strong soldiers either. They should have at least seen it on their scouters. And on the fly, Vegeta comes up with another lie, saying that they're able to just increase their battle power at will. It's something that scouters can't really detect as easily, which apparently is what those other low-class Saiyans do, what Raditz's family does. And Vegeta kinda wants to learn to do that himself. He and Nappa begin their intense training, while Frieza thinks over the situation, trying to think through the holes in their story. What's going on here? Back on Yardrat, Raditz attempts to learn spirit control. He's still behind, but he does get a control on it pretty quickly, and they have a lot more serious training here. About a year of time passes. And let's cover the power levels of everybody. Bardock is at 200,000, still the strongest of the group. Surprisingly enough though, Kakarot and Ruda are just behind him. Kakarot's at 180k, with Ruda at 160k. These two might actually be able to grow faster than him, which is incredible. It must have to do with their upbringing somehow. Gine's at around 60k. She's begun training again, although not as intensely as the others, but after knocking out Nappa in one hit, it kinda gives her the motivation to start training again. She does have full access to spirit control, and it's probably good to put it to use, and Raditz has the same exact power as her. Difference is, he trains a lot more than her, and he's able to kind of catch up. But by this point, there's some trouble brewing in the Frieza Force, and it doesn't have to do with the Saiyans either. Frieza gets word that somebody's trying to attack his planets. At first, he thinks it is the Saiyans, but no, it's apparently some other group, and he has to send scouts to a bunch of his planets to try and fight them. It's a small group, but still, they're powerful. He doesn't know exactly who it is, but knows it's some sort of squadron, and he kind of has a hunch on who's responsible for it. Now more than ever, it's important to reinforce his planets, but also expand the Frieza Force even further. Try to find any other valuable planets that they can. He might have to hire some extra muscle too. Although, it appears the Ginyu Force is about to invade some planet anyways, and Frieza actually lets them go for it. And he tells them, if they invade this planet and successfully eliminate its population, he'll buy it off them, and employ them for more jobs too. He might need their power more than ever. And they'd be glad to do so. The planet that they have in mind is Yardrat. In the main story, the Ginyu Force did have this in mind anyways. That is how Goku got to Yardrat after all. And the Ginyu Force are still heading there, not even knowing what awaits them. Raditz is training with his siblings one day, and then senses something strange. They feel it too. There's 5 powers approaching. Kakarot comments that they're decently powerful, and Raditz, who can now sense energy, immediately recognizes what it is. 5 powers with that much strength? His eyes widen. He looks fearful. It can't be. How did they get here? Why are they here? Why is the Ginyu Force here? Did Frieza send them? Did Frieza finally find out where they are? Bardock and Gine teleport over too, and Raditz asks him, does he think it's the same thing? And Bardock thinks so. It has to be the Ginyu Force. But he's not too scared. He thinks with their current level of power, they can defeat the Ginyu Force. Kakarot and Ruda have no clue what the Ginyu Force is. The other 3 at least know. The issue is, they don't really know too much about the Ginyu Force's powers. Just the fact that they have a lot of raw strength. The 5 Ginyu pods crash on the planet, and the family watches from afar. And Bardock has a really funny idea that actually will kind of work. Using spirit control, he creates a clone of himself. And he shrinks the clone down, like really far. The rest of the family just looks on in confusion. Why is there a tiny Bardock? The tiny Bardock speaks in a funny voice. He tells them not to laugh. This is their best shot at figuring out what's going on. The tiny Bardock flies off while the rest of the family just tries to contain their laughter. Tiny Bardock then teleports over to the Ginyu Force. He's basically going to act as a drone for them, listening in on their conversation. And from what he could tell, it seems like the Ginyu Force doesn't actually know they're here. They're just looking around for any sign of life. And the dumb looking one kind of has a big mouth. Raccoon blurts out that it should be easy to take over this planet like Frieza wanted. Well, that explains it to Bardock. It seems like they're just here on an unrelated mission, which kind of makes sense too because they thought maybe someday this would be on the Frieza Force's radar. Although it's strange that it's the Ginyu Force, but whatever. This is good. The Ginyu Force doesn't know they're here. They could launch a sneak attack, and they have just enough people to fight them. Tiny Bardock then blows up all their scouters, quickly then disappearing as the entire family appears in front of the Ginyu Force. And immediately Bardock charges an attack, with the ground erupting below the Ginyu Force. What was that? Was that just 5 Saiyans? No, it can't be. They look like Saiyans, but that makes no sense. And they were wearing Frieza armor too. And their scouters are gone. They can't even detect them now. There's just a cloud of smoke below them. Someone then rockets up out of the plume of smoke. It's Gine. She rockets right towards Goldo, killing him with one attack, then quickly turning over and launching a barrage of blasts at the others. Raccoon steps in front to defend, not too affected by the blast, but then Raditz rockets up, hitting Raccoon with a powerful uppercut as he launches a blast from his mouth, with the blast exploding in his mouth. Kakarot and Ruda teleport above him, then launching a combined blast that knocks him into Jason Birder. And Bardock then appears in front of Ginyu, with the 2 of them sparring as the rest of the Ginyu Force fights the others. Ginyu can't believe it. They were dismantled that quickly? They already lost Goldo, but the others, they should be able to fight on their own. Although, these Saiyans, if that's what they are, they seem to have such strange abilities, and Ginyu can't tell how powerful they are. He doesn't have a scouter after all, even if the art in the video shows that he does. Just pretend it's not there. But he thinks to himself, what if he steals this guy's body? That might be his last chance. If this guy's the ringleader of the group and he's the strongest, that could really help him. So, without a second thought, he tries to take Bardock's body, and it works. He successfully swaps bodies with him, not before injuring himself though. In Ginyu's body, Bardock plummets towards the ground, yelling out to the others, he swapped bodies. That's this guy's power. They quickly defeat the rest of the Ginyu Force, but now they have to deal with this. This guy now has Bardock's body, and they have no clue of what to do about it. But Kakarot has an idea. He's not too sure if it'll work, but it's probably got a good chance of working. He simply floats over to Ginyu, and Ginyu taunts him. He doesn't know who this guy is, but they're all clearly allies. And those 2 Saiyans definitely are related. They look the exact same. What? Is he gonna attack his own flesh and blood? Well, yeah, actually he will. Kakarot delivers a powerful punch. Ginyu coughs up blood, but just laughs it off. They're all strong, but that's not gonna be enough. They're gonna have to completely destroy this body. And Kakarot says there's no need, as he then attempts to use Force Spirit Fission. He knows that Force Spirit Fission has weird properties. It could forcefully separate things. Things combined through absorption, fusion, anything like that. At the very least, he could weaken this guy, but in the best case scenario, he could swap them back to normal. And something strange happens. It's almost like he rips the soul out of both of them. Or at least he pulls Ginyu out of Bardock as the lifeless body falls to the ground. And Bardock on the ground and Ginyu's body looks on in horror. Be careful with its body. Oh yeah, Kakarot apologizes. He quickly teleports down there, then tapping onto Bardock, pulling him out of Ginyu's body as he then switches them, putting them back in the right place. Ginyu has no clue of what just happened, but before he can even process it, he's then immediately blasted by Kakarot. Well, that was kind of weird for Bardock, but he's glad Kakarot thought outside the box for that. To think they're strong enough to defeat the Ginyu Force now. But this does concern them. That means they are on Frieza's radar. They might not have that much more time. Vegeta and Nappa, they did buy them a year or so. But something caused Frieza to come to this planet, or at least the Ginyu Force. They definitely weren't here on their own accord. They mentioned Frieza flat out. Why did he want this planet, this random place? Maybe Frieza's not actually after them. Maybe he's after someone else. Maybe someone's messing with him. A turf war begins brewing with Frieza's army, unbeknownst to Bardock and his family. Vegeta and Nappa are in the midst of it too, and Vegeta theorized what's going on. There's only one explanation for this. The rumor must be true. Frieza must have a brother, a tyrant just like him. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more like this, and because it really helps with the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.